What up, YouTube? It's that time again, and I'm here today with a leg day video. So this is just one of the leg routines I decided to do. Now, the video is a bit long, it's about 20 minutes, but you'll be able to see everything I did for this particular leg day. I'm gonna try to add some slides in of some pictures so you can see some mobility and flexibility, some stretches that I did, and some warm-ups that I did to get my hips and my legs warmed up and prepared for what I was about to do for this day. So here, I started with just some warm-up squats with the bar. For those who don't know, the bar weighs 45 pounds, so for me that's good enough outside of the stretching to get my legs warmed up. I'm also trying to work on my range of motion with squatting and being able to drop all the way down in that hole while keeping my core tight, keeping my chest up, my back as straight as possible. You want to try to keep your back out of the lift with squatting and just rely on your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes, but specifically your hamstrings and your glutes for that explosive power. Now, I'm about to change shoes here. I do like to squat with Converse just because they're a very flat shoe. Anyone who knows anything about lifting knows that that's like a poor man's lifting shoe. For me, it's really good. It's functional. Like I said, it's really flat and down to the surface, so I like to have a balanced shoe when squatting. Not a running shoe that's gonna propel me forward. So this is my first working set at 135 pounds. As you can see, I have a friend tagging along today. So this is Tom. He's a trainer that I work with. But try not to do what I did here. I was very distracted by talking to him. You'll see somewhere through the squatting right here. I'm just running my mouth. I'm not even doing shit. Try not to marinate so much and pause. I like to get through the sets. I don't want to go extremely fast, but I don't like to go as slow as I did this day. But normally that doesn't happen. Just that day, he decided to tag along during some parts of my workout, and I was getting a little distracted. So after this particular set, well, let me give you some tips for squatting. Try to keep your hips. Try to keep your legs at least shoulder width apart, maybe even a little wider, but shoulder width is good. And you want to lead the exercise with your hips. Try not to bend at your knees. First, bending at your knees and propelling forward is just going to put your body weight and whatever weight you have on your back on your knees. Try to keep that weight on the muscle groups that you're working. So you want to lead back with your hips. Try to keep your core tight. Try to keep your chest up. Try to keep your back as straight as possible. Now, I'm going to show you 4 different sets for this entire workout. Most of the exercises I did, especially the compound ones, I did 4 sets for every exercise. So here I went from 135 to 155. Now, also the shoes, back to the shoes that I have on. Right now, I changed from the Converse to the lifters. So these are some Reebok CrossFit lifters. Lifters from Adidas, Nike, Reebok, any of them. There's a couple other brands. Generally, they're gonna run you about $200 give or take. So if that's not an investment you want to make, but you want to have some type of shoe that is proper for the exercises that you want to do for lower body, like lunges, squats, deadlifts, good mornings, things like that, I would say Converse will probably be your next best option. If you're not ready to, or if you just don't want to invest in a good pair of lifting shoes. But for me, I feel like my squat form is much better and I'm much more comfortable with the squats that I'm doing and my deadlifts when I'm wearing these lifters. So for the most part, I'll wear those in the Converse. Now, yeah, that was a bit of a struggle. Like I said, I'm trying to get adjusted to dropping down in that hole and getting my glutes and hamstrings really prepared for that lift. So you'll see here on 175. I think I was able to maybe do, I want to say maybe 4, 5. I might be, I think about 4 or 5. And you'll see throughout the set. It took me a second to actually get comfortable and get prepared to go down for the squat. But they weren't that great. Maybe the first one was okay, and then okay, maybe I didn't do 5, but the second and third were like choppy. Oh wow, okay, so this one didn't look that bad, but you did see that I got stuck a little bit, and I really had to focus on using my legs and not my back for the lift. And I guess here's the next 2, so I did do more than 3. But as you can see, I'm pretty tired already here from all the talking I did when I was squatting. So like I said, it wasn't the best day for these lifts, and look at that one. That one was a pure struggle. So I did 4. Actually, I did go up. I went up in a 4th set with this pyramiding, and I went to 185. And I did 3 here, and these squats actually look much better, in my opinion, than the ones at 175. Being that deep in the hole, the squats with squatting, your hamstrings and your glutes are really going to be what initiates that upward motion for you. So I would say if you're someone that's trying to work on your range of motion with squatting, if flexibility and mobility in your hips is not the issue, then obviously the strength coming from those 2 muscle groups in your posterior chain are going to be what is holding you back. So really focus on building strength in those 2 muscle groups in particular. So I did 1, and slowly but surely here comes the 2nd and the 3rd squat. So the 2nd one wasn't too bad, and neither was the 3rd one. Like I said, I think that this set in general looked much better than the 4 that I got with 175. That just wasn't a good set in my opinion, but every day is a new day. So I'm going to keep trying to get more comfortable with this and power through, and I want to get to the point where I can do 200 plus. Now parallel I can do plus 200, but the most I've ever done going that low with squatting probably was 205, and that was only one time. I think I did about 3. So on to the next thing. Here we are with deadlifts. So I pyramided 4 sets of deadlifts. I actually supersetted this exercise with goblet squats. So if you have a convertible squat rack like this, you can try this. What I like to do is have a deficit. I've done this with like plyo boxes before, benches, whatever, etc. But I started deadlifts with 155, and this was pretty easy for me. This is fairly light, so I wanted to start with something moderately light and then work my way up to the heavy end. And that was 10 reps, and then like I said, I immediately supersetted that with a goblet squat. So I pyramided with the goblet squats as well. I think I started, that kettlebell might be 40 something pounds, 45 I think. And back to what I was saying about the deficit. The reason why I like to have a deficit is so that the length of my arms and me holding the kettlebell the way that I'm holding it, it doesn't get interrupted by the ground being underneath me. So as you can see, there's a big hole underneath me, so I can drop my glutes lower and really feel the burn. For a goblet squat, you're really gonna feel it. I mean, it's gonna work the same 3 muscle groups as a standard squat, but you're gonna feel this more in your glutes. You're also gonna feel this more in your adductors. So this is gonna be really good if you wanna work on building those particular areas. And again, here, like I said, it was a superset. I pyramided through 4 sets. So here, now I'm deadlifting with 185. So for deadlifts, try to keep your glutes as low as possible. I would say try to get them as low as possible and really focus on using your legs. With this style of deadlift, you don't have much incorporation from your back. Your legs are going to do the bulk of the work, especially your posterior, your glutes and your hamstrings. So I like to work on strength. Obviously, I like the aspect of aesthetics as well, but I want to try to maintain my strength as much as possible. I just started focusing on macros a little more and tailoring my diet so that I can trim down a bit, but nonetheless I want to try to maintain as much strength as possible. So my workouts are mostly right now for aesthetic purposes, but also there are days where I will either pyramid or do heavy sets where I may only get somewhere between 5 to 8 reps, sometimes even as low as 3, just because I want to work on trying to maintain as much strength as possible. So then I went straight into the goblet squat. This fucking weird ass dude all in my clip. And the funny part about it is he looked at the camera multiple times, so he knew he was in the way, but whatever, the show must go on. So I superset it with goblet squats, and this time I went up to 50, I think this kettlebell is 53 pounds, so I think I went up by 9 pounds with that kettlebell. That's actually the heaviest kettlebell we have in my gym. So then I went to a dumbbell after that. So here we are. Welcome to the Big Boy Show. Right now, I'm deadlifting 225. So the heaviest I've ever deadlifted, for those wondering, was 260. I got 2 or 3 reps out of that. I'm sure I could have went heavier, but this day my legs were feeling really good, and I actually wanted to go to 275, but I didn't. Reluctantly, I stopped a little higher than 225. So as you can see here, this wasn't that hard of a weight for me, but there's no I don't like to control my deadlifts on the way down too much. I like to save my energy for the explosive motion on the way up. On the way down, there have been times where I've slammed down so hard with not a damn care that my glasses have popped off. But this day, I wasn't trying to do too much slamming. As you can see, my gym does not have a platform, so I use these mats. They suppress the sound to an extent, but once you're slamming down, it's still gonna be pretty loud. So I try to control it a little more, but I don't really like to control on the negative as much. I like to use my energy on the explosive part. So here comes the second part of the superset, and this is goblet squats now with a 70-pound dumbbell. And I'm working out where I work at too. So right now, I think I'm talking to another trainer about, I don't even know, some shit. But this set with this 70-pound dumbbell was actually pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm laughing and joking here, like I said, with another trainer I was talking to, but realistically, it was brutal. And you can see it in my face once I got maybe to about 5 or 6 reps. I was only able to do 8 with this, and that was a brutal 8. Man, I tell you what, the days after this leg day, my God, and my ass and right below, like the top of my hamstrings, it was sickening. It wasn't enough foam rolling and stretching in the world. That shit lasted about, delayed onset, man, it wasn't just the second day. It was like the third and maybe probably a little bit of the 4th day. I mean, I still did a second leg day that week, but because this is my leg day from last week, but it was brutal. And here's the last part of the superset. So 245. I only did a couple reps. I think I maybe did 4 or 5, maybe not even that many. Like I said, my legs were feeling pretty fresh, and I wanted to try 275. I don't know why I didn't, and I guess I just psyched myself out. By the time I got to 245, I only did a couple. I probably could have did more than what I ended up doing here. And for the second part of the superset, when I did the goblet squats, I didn't even go up in weight. By that time, like I said, everything in my legs were shot. And this was just from doing 12 sets. Look, people putting their hand in the camera, disrespectful. But my legs were pretty much shot, so I didn't go up to 80. Oh yeah, okay, so look, I got 4 at 245, and I just had to throw it down after that. I was exhausted. But went on to the goblet squats, kept it at 70 pounds. Like I said, everything was sore, so I banged out 8. I had to suck it up because I really wanted to stop about 5 or 6, and I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead, suck it up, knock out all 8 of them, and then move on to the next exercise. I had only had one more compound movement to do after that, and then I was going to do a little bit of isolated work. So I was like, you know, I had did the bulk of the work already, so I was like, let me just suck it up and power through. And that's pretty much what I did. Sucked it up and made it through those last couple reps. Now, I went on to leg press. I'm only going to show 2 sets of leg press. For the rest of the workout, I'm only going to show about 1 or 2 sets because there's not much to see. I just showed the first 2 sets so you can see the positioning of my legs. This is 4 45s on each side. Usually I do either 4 or 5 45s. I haven't tried 6 yet. I'm waiting to try 6, but one of these days I will. So right now I just wanted to work a little more. I worked on both parts of the quad. So I want to work on the lateral vastus and then your inner vastus. So that's not what it's called. I can't think right now what the other vastus is called, but y'all get my drift. So having your feet closer on the leg press is going to work more of the outer portion of your quads. Now if you notice on the second set of the leg press, I have my feet as wide as the platform goes, and that's going to work more on your inner quads and also a little bit of your adductor. So same, I think for this I might have did anywhere from, let's say, 8 to 12 maybe. Yeah, maybe about 8 to 12 reps I think I did. somewhere probably about 10. But I did 4 sets. Like I said, I only showed 2 just so you can see my leg placements, and there are various ways that you can do the leg press. Obviously, you can do a wide, you can do a close stance, you can do an extremely close stance by having your feet right next to each other. You can do single leg press, all that kind of stuff. But try to make sure you do the full range of motion. Bring your knees down so your chest as close as possible. Try not to lock your knees out once you drive the weight up. You want to keep the tension on your muscle groups that you're working, not your joints. And right here, like I said, I was popped. This wasn't even the 4th set. This was the 2nd set. I still had 2 more to go, but I was tapped after that. And here we are going on to the isolation work. So after I did those 4 sets of leg press, I went right into doing some cable kickbacks. Now, normally I don't do these. I used to do them a lot. I don't do them as much. So this is just gonna isolate your glutes for those who are interested in that type of leg work. So I think I might have had this on. This cable machine is in kilos, so I might have had like 10 kilos on here, maybe a little more. But try to keep your core tight. Try to keep your back as straight as possible. You really want to lift through your glutes. Use your ass to lift the weight. Try not to incorporate your back, because if you do, your back will be tight as I don't know what. Your lower back will hurt. And I did 3 sets. So I did 3 sets on each leg each. And what I try to stay away from is I try not to do sets back to back on one leg. As you can see, I did the left leg, now I'm showing you the right leg. So I usually just alternate the strap from leg to leg, back to back. So there's really no rest. The rest is when I'm doing the opposite side, and I'll run straight through these. So you can make it through these fairly quickly. And next, and the last 2 exercises I did, I like to superset these 2 exercises together. This is going to be abductor and adductor. Abductor is a glute isolating exercise, and here I think I use maybe like 130 pounds, something like that. And then rep range is about 10 to 12. And then immediately, right after I got done with abductor, I switched to adductor. And this is going to work the inner part of your thighs. That's a really difficult part to hit. I mean, unless you do sumo squats, goblet squat, or the adductor machine. And for this one, I think I might have used maybe 110, 120. And like I said, superset back and forth for 4 rounds. So the rest period is when I'm working the opposite machine, and vice versa. That was my leg day. Like I said, give this a try if you want to. You don't have to pyramid, but you can stay with the same rep with the same weight. I decided to pyramid this day. Give it a try. Until next time, peace.